president of Franklin Toyota, and I'm glad to partner with TGV in the Community Spotlight, and I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you.
All right, so I'm Zach VanOtteren with Kennedy Pond Conservancy. I'm the Executive Director. We started up about 3-4 months ago. We're sitting on the property here. You can see it behind me. Kennedy Pond Conservancy's mission and goals mainly focus around the restoration of what is behind me, which is a Carolina Bay ecosystem. We want to try to restore it to what it was, maybe 200 years ago before humans got involved in it, and turn it back into what God created it to be. And then following that, we want to push education and research of nature conservation and wetlands as a whole to the broader region and whoever we can reach. So the pond itself is 315 acres of the actual wetlands, and then we own 30 acres of upland property behind you here. You asked earlier what started this for me as far as why did I build the organization and what's the reason for it. Well, with all this development coming in around the EV plants and just development in general, it's really jarred me over the last couple of years. We live in the middle of nowhere and thoroughly enjoy it, and that is quickly closing in on us because of what's happening in the region. So this coming up for sale was just my shot to save a little piece of what's left in Bulloch County and show people hopefully the importance of saving places like this. Our organization's cause is bigger than just Kennedy Pond and what it can provide. It's nature conservation as a whole and how important it is within our region. And having these kinds of places to filter water and provide, beauty of nature and provide habitat for nature, for flora and fauna, all the plants and animals that live here. And so the organization is here to hopefully be a beacon for our region as kind of let's see what we can save and see what we can protect for future generations to come. A lot of people have asked me in this, why'd you buy a swamp? Like you said, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but I've always had a heart for nature since I was a child. I wanted to be a DNR agent or some sort of park ranger coming up, just never did it. It was never the right time. So when I found out about this opportunity, it just really spoke to me in a way to save a little piece of the county as there's so much development around it. I have little kids as well as a lot of other people around here, and I want them to grow up with wild spaces where they can come truly experience nature. So the lake has been dammed as well as dikes put in it. It's been logged several times over the past couple of decades. These wetlands function kind of like a sponge. They take in all the runoff water from the construction across the street and the local neighbors, and they take all that water with the impurities in it and filter it back through the sponge-like bottom of the pond back into our aquifers. But in order for it to function properly, we need the tree life and the plant life and the wildlife acting as it should so that it properly functions as a filtration system and nature habitat. So with the education program, we actually kicked it off this past Saturday with the Adventure Workshop, where we brought in an author who has written a couple books on Carolina Bays and other nature-oriented things. But the goal is to then follow that through with doing one workshop a week, bringing in a guest speaker and from Georgia Forestry or DNR or some of these other local nature conservation organizations, where they can pick a topic and speak on something nature conservation related, and get the word out for what they're doing as well as what we're doing here. So that's one aspect of it in the workshops, but then we hope to launch a weekly seminar, and then some lunch and learn stuff where you could come out during the weeks, do field trips or office visits or whatever it may be, and get the public involved in conservation. As part of Kennedy Pond Conservancy, we created 2 advisory councils to help focus the board and direct the board, advise the board on what should happen within the organization. This is a big place out here. It's a lot bigger than I am. So I wanted to make sure that the organization was doing everything it could with the resources we have to make the best plan going forward as far as not just a restoration site plan, but an overall organizational site plan as well. So we created the Ecological Advisory Council. We refer to it as the EAC because that's a mouthful, but it's a group of individuals, an advisory council of individuals made up of professors and doctors from Georgia Southern in the sustainability and earth science and biology, ecology fields, as well as people within the community in the region that are conservation experts in wildlife management or game management or just nature conservation as a whole. So we have a lot of good people behind us. Some of these people on the EAC have over 40 years of experience in sustainability and conservation. So it's not just little old me telling people how we should rebuild this pond and how it should function, but it's a group of professionals that we're bringing together to really draw the best out of what we can get. And the second council is the Public Engagement Council. It's more outreach and sponsorships, trying to get the community involved and getting businesses involved to help support us and draw people to the events so they can learn about us and learn about nature conservation as a whole. So we're a 501c3 nonprofit underneath the federal government. All our paperwork is currently being filed right now. We do have our state certificate, so we're able to accept donations and give tax breaks and receipts because of that. But yeah, the main goal with this is to bring in a bigger agency like federal or state funding to fund the program eventually. But it takes time to get into these programs and a lot of resources to get into the programs where somebody like that will come in and fund it. So our big push right now is to get the community behind us to help us fund this project until we can get some of these bigger funding organizations in here to make it happen. So we have our big community opening event. We've done several small soft openings. Like I said, the adventure workshop, we've had a couple of benefits and whatnot, but this is really the big opening to the community, and we hope to draw everybody out to see who we are and what we're about and what we're trying to do out here. It's called the Better in Boots Music Festival. It's open to the public on our website, KennedyPondConservancy.org. You can get all the details for it as well as buy tickets. We have 7 local artists coming, the Ripleys, the Good Time Buddies, Dan Larkin, Colin Middleton, Amy Taylor, Daniel Navarro, and then we'll have vendors with food trucks and ice cream trucks and a kids zone set up with bounce houses and a place for them to play, as well as local vendor booths like Franklin Farms and some of the other ones around here that are into the kind of craft niche markets. Better in Boots Festival is February 3rd, and it's from 10 o'clock in the morning. We're starting to get set up and get everybody in, and then it goes to 10:30 at night, hopefully with bonfires and music and a little bit of beer garden.